Yeah, if it crashes, get a MacBook.
I know.
Get a Mac or a Linux. Just everybody just.
What's a Linux? I've never even heard of that.
Well, it's just an operating system.
Okay.
It's just a better operating system than Microsoft,
Yeah.
which is the
I
worst
see what you
thing
mean.
ever.
Mm-hmm.
God, I've been trying to set up all these guys with this streaming stuff for the live streaming, the sports. It's awful. I'm like, oh,
I bet
God,
it's a
can we just-
nightmare.
Yeah, because I just
Yeah.
feel like, okay, we clicked 90 times to install one deal, you know. And when we go into Mac, you know, we load it up and it's a few clicks, you set it up and boom.
You know, you're on the payroll. That's not even cost effective at
Yeah,
some
exactly,
point to be that inefficient. I hate inefficient equipment.
I don't know why people stand up for Microsoft. I still don't get it. I'm like, yeah.
People
I can see
what?
it. I don't see why people stand up for Microsoft. There's a lot of people that have, you know,
Yeah,
returned that,
well-
oh, Apple is for the...
There's a documentary on Netflix I watched about that, and I guess people into Microsoft really like to throw out in conversation all the technical jargon about the system files and all
Microsoft?
I
this.
say get lost, you're crazy.
Well, yeah,
I
and
say, if you're going to use...
then the Mac people, but this was about the Macintosh, and the Mac people are like, I like my computer because it's simple to use, and I turn it on, it works, and it doesn't give me problems, you know.
I mean, how long do you normally have a Mac, or how long do you normally have a PC, and then but how long before it's just absolutely worthless?
Seriously,
2 years?
right? 2
maybe?
years,
2 years
yeah.
maybe.
Yeah,
I've had my
that's true.
MacBook for going on 5 years now, and it
Wow.
runs. It runs like
It's an
it.
antique.
I mean, it's not even running. It doesn't run like when I first
I've
got
got
it,
my
but it still runs
desktop.
awesome.
My desktop Mac runs like new and it's 7 years old. I record music with it. It's great.
And I
Now I always thought, I'm a PC user. I always thought the Macintosh did have a learning curve.
no only because you're used to.
Okay,
The
so it
Microsoft.
does. So that's why the PC users are going to go, I'm
Yeah,
used to this.
there's a lot of techie, like really hardcore techie guys that really like Microsoft, and
Really?
I think maybe they've been smoking something that I haven't found, but.
You're trying to find.
Yeah, yeah. I
That's
think
another
Linux,
show we need to do,
no,
Matt,
the
about
Linux,
legalize marijuana.
I would jump on that show, absolutely.
I know you would.
The Linux guys, I can see that. Linux has got an awesome operating system,
Yeah.
and if tomorrow there were no more Macintoshes, then I would probably go to Linux. I would absolutely go to Linux. I recommend it to everybody. It's
What
on
company
PC.
is behind that? Linux? Or are they something else?
Yeah, I can't remember what their name
Apple
is. I think it's.
and,
God, I don't remember. Yeah, it's Linux because they have their operating system is
their own?
Ubuntu, and you can download it and put it on a PC. And
It's free.
yeah, it's free. It's open source.
Wow. That's
So
pretty
The
neat.
problem with Linux is there's problems getting certain programs to run because it's kind of
A lot of people.
specialized.
Yeah, there's just not many. There's not that many
Okay.
people using it. So.
And that was
again,
the story on PC for a while because Microsoft took over all the software and stuff. But
Oh, you mean like Mac?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mac,
versus the
and Mac's
Macintosh.
getting better now just because
Okay.
they've just manhandled the mobile market.
Oh,
And-
gosh, yeah.
Well, mobile.
Oh,
even
they
though, I mean, I
have.
guess as far as
They've really
mobile and
they've
tablet
almost
is where they-
rebranded or refreshed their brand, I think.
Yeah. Oh, they absolutely did. And I mean,
Mhm.
Apple doesn't have the most market share anymore. Android does, but now when it comes to tablets and the iPad, there's just.
Right.
I mean, you look at Jerry's compared to mine. It's like looking at 30-pound weight compared to the iPad that just works.
That's why Macintosh is an exciting company because they tend to reinvent themselves and come out with these products that no one has really thought of yet, and try and freshen things up a bit.
That's what everybody's looking for.
The
I mean, if they're
iPad,
good and they're quality and they
iPhone.
work,
Well,
people are all over it. I think.
And now we'll see how they do without their leader. Because he
With
stepped down.
Jobs, I know.
He's
Jobs.
Yeah.
Jobs.
Yep. Jobs.
I met him.
Really?
Yes, I did.
How was that?
It was in the heyday of Apple. I was down in San Francisco at a conference with Ben's uncle.
Have you washed your hand?
And
Did you shake
I
hands?
shouldn't
Wash it?
have.
You
Should
should have
never
never
washed it. Yeah,
No,
he
you
was
shouldn't.
just, of course he was young then because that was back in the 80s.
Right?
But it was huge. Apple was huge. I don't know if you know any of the history of Apple where their Super Bowl, I remember they launched in the Moscone Center Arena. They did a preview of their Super Bowl commercial where the girl comes out. The girl comes out, and she comes out and she sledgehammers.
1984.
Yeah.
You should have seen that auditorium of people when they played that live.
I've seen the playback. It's on YouTube, and you can see kind of how people reacted to that, and it's just they're just.
Yeah,
it
just gives me shivers that I was even able to be there. That's because his uncle was really big in the computer business. He had 3 stores down at the Plaza in Kansas City at the time, and he had a couple tickets, and I lived there. and we lived there, and so we went to that. Herbie Hancock was the headlining, and Herbie Hancock at the height of Herbie Hancock, unbelievable. And is it Jobs or Jobs?
Jobs.
Jobs.
Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs, and he was, I remember him, you know, he was in a smaller room, not too many people, they had a lot of computers set up, and he was demonstrating something, and I was probably like here to here, you know.
He's just, I mean, he's a legend. And a lot of people don't realize just how much of a visionary this guy is. And it's, I mean, we're watching, you know, being able to watch how he's done stuff. I mean, he's Henry Ford.
Exactly.
You know, right now, when we get to see just what a brilliant businessman and a brilliant visionary can do, considering that Apple's about ready to file bankruptcy when he took it back, when he became the CEO again.
Right, after he let it go, it dropped off, and then he brought it back again, and like you said, what's going to happen now? What's going to be the future of this company? Because he's got pancreatic cancer, I heard, I think. That's like
they don't release. Yeah, but he's had it. He had that 5 years ago.
He
got
has
the death
some real
sentence 5 years ago.
He has some rare form of it that apparently isn't the most deadly or something, is all I can say.
And he's had a liver transplant too.
Okay. Yeah.
But the one thing, you know, a lot of people don't know about him is that he owns more stock in Disney than any other person.
In Disney?
Because he bought Pixar.
The Pixar movies.
He bought Pixar, and he headed up Pixar during Pixar's heyday.
Oh, yeah.
Before he came back.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I guess Pixar's still kind of in the heyday.
Right. Cool. Well, Matt, thanks for coming in. We're going to have to let you go. So you've had a long work day. And let's see, medical marijuana. In Kansas, entrepreneur. What other segments are we going to have you come in on?
What?
We're off. And
well, I suppose I'll keep the F-bombs and the jokes to a minimum.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can't. Yeah, we can't curse. For some reason, I didn't think you were going to be the comic coming in. Oh my gosh, I'm so worried because then I have to spend time getting my people to edit everything out. So, and you're probably going to want this microphone. You want to stay fairly close to it. Yeah. Yeah, and we'll catch a side view of you there, which the camera's so far enough away.
That's good. Fine.
And whenever you're kind of ready to turn the camera on, just let us know. Ben, we're going to do 14 on the first segment, and then we'll do 8 on the second one.
All right, do you want me to keep time?
Yes, and she gives me a 3-minute warning, which would be, if we're doing a 14-minute, that would be 11, and then a 1-minute warning. Does yours beep?
No, it's not going to beep.
That's good.
I'm going to do a stopwatch. So 14 and what?
14 for the first and 8 for the second.
All right.
Okay.
I think this is on too.
Because
if I jump in, I might.
Yeah. And you're going to look like your head's getting awfully close to the camera, so you need to stay pretty pushed in.
Also hang out
or
back here.
Yeah, that works too.
Does that work? Okay. Check your mic. Just say something.
Hey, the Joan Yurkovich Show, 910.
Can you check your mic too?
Yeah, test 1 2.
Looks good. It's recording.
And you're in if you pop on.
Yep. I think we're ready.
Okay, so all we need to do is just have you turn the video on, and then I'll get started.
It's been rolling, so.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll have it now.
Okay, I'll tell Devin. Okay, 14 minutes. We'll get started. Hello, this is Joan with the Joan Yurkovich Show. We're back on this Saturday morning, and we have another guest that's going to talk to us about some interesting internet things that go on. We just finished our conversation with our web director about internet safety and internet ethics, and protocol. But we're here today with Steve Somerville. He actually has a music education degree from Kansas Wesleyan, but we found him down at one of the local card shops playing Magic the Gathering. So, hi Steve.
Hi.
Well, it's very exciting for me to kind of get into your world. When I came in to meet you and talk to you, the card shop there, you had a whole group of tables set up with people back there playing. What are some of the favorite games that you like to play?
Oh, well, there's several. Magic the Gathering, or Magic for short, is the most popular game, at least at the arena.
Uh-huh.
After that, there's always video games. I play 360 and PC games such as Mass Effect, Elder Scrolls, Oblivion, Assassin's Creed.
Now, where are those played? Are those all on the computer, or is that like Xbox?
Yeah, they're Xbox, PlayStation 3, PC. Those games are.
Well, and I apologize in advance if I don't know a lot about this, because I don't. But it's such a fascinating topic for me, because, you know, when I talk to people or see people doing this, they're just entranced with this. So this is what we call role-playing or fantasy. What do you call the whole general area of this?
Oh, that's a pretty broad brushstroke. Gaming in general can be divided into several different groups. Role-playing games, or RPGs, is the most common, or at least the one that I enjoy the most. But they can go...
And examples of those, again, are?
Anything that allows you to become a different player. For example, World of Warcraft is a role-playing game. Elder Scrolls for Oblivion is a role-playing game where you actually are the character. Dungeons & Dragons is a tabletop role-playing game. And then even Magic the Gathering, at its core, is a role-playing game where you and your opponent are trying to beat each other using magical spells and mystical creatures.
Well, and I'm just going to jump in and say that here working our board in the studio is Ben Myers, who actually did the blog on salinapost.com for this actual segment. He knows a lot more about this, so if you hear another voice coming in, that would be Ben speaking up. Hi, Ben.
That would be me. Hi.
Yeah. So when you play these games, what I think is kind of fascinating is how do you choose what sort of character you want to be? Because to my understanding, you can be a male or you can be a female.
Well, as far as, for role-playing games, it's all about...
So Steve could be Stephanie? Maybe.
In theory, I could, yes. The idea behind the role-playing game is to be someone different.
Exactly.
One of the game theories is why we play games is to escape, you know, either our humdrum or our unfortunate, you know, whatever's going on in our lives, and to be someone different.
Kind of escapism.
Yeah, exactly. That is what it is.
So, which is TV, video games.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you're not sitting at the bar drinking, right?
Oh yeah.
Watching sports forever.
Yeah. But as far as characters go, when you make a character, when I make a character, there's a concept behind it. What do I want this character to be? The lawful paladin of smiting everything except squid, or do I want to be just the main red mage that just kind of walks around and helps everyone else, but doesn't really look out for myself very well. So
does that based on maybe the when you step into it, kind of the mood you're in at the time, or do you have like a whole cast of characters that you've created for yourself?
Oh yeah, I mean, in theory, I could be the evil person who goes and destroys all the good guys, but generally, my experience has led me to believe that we create characters that are facets of ourselves. So, for like Dungeons & Dragons, for example, I'm usually always the bard because, well, they're chaotic good, so they're always good guys, but those laws, they're a little iffy. And
that's a facet of yourself, you say. So you see a little bit of you in that character.
Oh yeah, and bards by definition perform music to make everyone better. So I very much see that reflection in myself.
And are you able to actually perform music? Can these characters, do they have skills? Can you incorporate some of your music education into your characters?
Oh, of course, yeah.
And here again, I don't know these games.
Well,
so
it depends on who's in charge, who's the dungeon master, I guess.
Oh, the dungeon master.
But whoever's in charge will determine how in-depth you can go. But as far as like Dungeons & Dragons, for example, you have a character sheet and there are actually skills you select. So whether my bard actually pulls out his lute and I do one at the table and play, or I just roll a die and say I'm playing my lute, there's many different ways to represent it.
Well, this really sounds fascinating, and I think what fascinates me too, and if you can maybe address what sort of person or personality is drawn to this sort of role fantasy gaming.
Oh, that's kind of hard. I suppose it's people who want to do something fantastic with, whether it's in their life or in the fantasy life, because, well, even something as simple as like Mass Effect, which is a video game that's on 360, PC, PS3, you take the role of Commander Shepard, who is part of the Alliance military from Earth a few hundred years from now, and you literally are saving the galaxy. There's no hyperbole.